It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. Sorry about that little delay, folks. I was set and ready to go with about 2 minutes out and everything crashed. So I had to get through and redo everything. A little dicey there. But anyway, we finally appears like I am up and running. If somebody can make sure they can hear me and see me and let me know in the chat room, that would be appreciated. Thank you guys for chatting a little bit there while I was struggling to get on. All right, so welcome to today's show. Coming to you from my studio in Forest, Virginia. Thank you, Gary. Of course, this is the 26th day of January, 2026. Today's show is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround, and by Chilliescruises. It's not the greatest news day in the world, folks, but we do have a few stories this morning. Headlines today, and just to go away from the weather, because plenty of weather talk today. New York City bans hidden hotel junk fees and surprise credit card holds starting in 2026. We had a story on Wednesday about the new terminal in Los Angeles. Come to find out, Magic Johnson is behind that. He will be the builder of the state-of-the-art terminal for the Outer Harbor. Winter storm disrupts cruise travel from ships as they adjust itineraries. And you've got lots of guests facing delays. A major technical issue for Anthem of the Seas, some pier damage in Costa, and lots more live here at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, folks, is National Peanut Brittle Day. I mean, I like peanut brittle. It doesn't like my teeth. But yeah, I've eaten some of it over the years. Anyway, go have some peanut brittle. All right, this day in 1784, in a letter dated January 26, 1784, Benjamin Franklin wrote to his daughter Sarah, also known as Sally, expressing his dismay that the eagle is chosen as an American symbol. Were he to choose, he would have picked the turkey. I'm glad the eagle won out. Sorry, Ben. Go back to Philadelphia, invent electricity or whatever you did. All right, if you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net. Or wherever you get your podcast from, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the old fat guy. All right. I'm running out of time. I'm down to the last week. I still have part of my desk stuff to either pack up or throw out, although the drawers are done. That was the worst of it. I still have my big bookcase over there next to where I sit to do and pack for the cruise. The rest of my clothes are going to go in bags, plastic bags. So Jason will be able to shuffle more of those through the car without taking up hard space, like tubs would take up hard space. So I hope to get a majority of that done today. I do have an issue for tomorrow. I have an oncology appointment at 7:30 in the morning. It's got to do some melting and clearing today, folks. And it's not supposed to get above freezing. So I'm going to look into that this afternoon about just canceling out and saying, sorry, you're going to have to send stuff to Louisville and I'll take care of it when I get there. But we'll see. Anyway, so that's supposed to happen early tomorrow morning. And while we didn't get as much snow here, I had a lovely call yesterday from Gretchen and Emily. Emily was out shoveling, and they got buried in New York. Gretchen was having some snow out in Ohio, but Emily took the cake, at least when I was on the phone with them. But anyway, it was a nice little chat with them yesterday. We didn't get anywhere near that. I mean, they were saying we could get a foot here. We had maybe 4 or 5 inches. It was cold. The coldest I saw was -2, which for Virginia is cold. It's not supposed to get a whole lot better for 2 or 3 days as far as warming up goes. A little, but not a whole lot. So I don't know what this week's going to bring for my running around stuff. I mean, I've still got to do things like, fill up the car and get gas. I am thinking seriously about leaving on the 23rd, which will give me, I'm a little concerned with the weather issues causing some delays in my travels. So I might try to get out of here a day early. It shouldn't make a whole lot of difference once I get everything done here and have it ready for Stanley and his crew to come in and dismantle and remove all the furniture. But we'll see. So anyway, that's still up in the air. And then, of course, after the 2 cruises on the Grandiosa, I will be going directly to Louisville. So that's what's coming up. All right, so it does appear that I've stayed on the air. It hasn't kicked me back off, so I must have gotten fixed whatever was wrong. All right, so before we get going too far here, let's take a quick break from one of our network sponsors, and Nestor will be back to talk about Hot Air Tom's monies that he's lost in New York City on the hotels. That's coming up shortly. Be right back. All right, thank you for that. So Nestor, did Hot Air Tom get stuck on some hotel fees and stuff, you think? I wonder. He stayed in New York a lot. Of course, I stayed with him several times.
New York City is officially cracking down on hidden hotel charges. The NYC Department of Consumer and Worker Protection announced a final rule this week banning undisclosed junk fees and surprise credit card holds on hotel stays. The rule, which takes effect February 21, 2026, targets fees often labeled as resort, destination, or hospitality service charges. Modeled after a Federal Trade Commission rule, the measure requires hotels to clearly disclose the full cost of a stay up front. Mayor Zoran Mamdani and Commissioner Sam Levine unveiled the new protections alongside business, labor, and consumer advocates. The NYC Department of Consumer and Worker Protection says it received more than 300 complaints last year alone related to hidden hotel fees and unexpected holds. Whether you're visiting the 5 boroughs for the World Cup or heading out on a well-deserved vacation, You deserve to know the real cost of a hotel upfront, Mamdani said. This rule will save New Yorkers and visitors millions of dollars each year. Levine said the agency will aggressively enforce the rule to ensure compliance. The agency will use its full enforcement authority to guarantee transparency for consumers and protect workers' rights, he said. City officials emphasized that the regulation sends a clear message that deceptive pricing practices will not be tolerated in New York City. A new cruise ship terminal is coming to the Port of Los Angeles, which we reported on Wednesday. JLC Infrastructure has partnered with Carrix Inc. to develop and operate the Outer Harbor Cruise Terminal at the Port of Los Angeles. What we did not report was that JLC Infrastructure is one of Magic Johnson's companies, and he now joins Shaq as former NBA stars deeply involved in the cruise industry.
The reason we didn't report it on Wednesday, didn't know it. All I knew was the JFC Infrastructure. Had no idea that was Magic. So it came to light.
Winter storm Fern is forecast to bring heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain to New York City just as MSC Meraviglia prepares to arrive at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal on Sunday, January 25, 2026. Forecasters warn the powerful storm could drop up to 12 inches of snow across parts of New York between early Sunday morning and Monday evening. Winter storm warnings remain in effect in New York and New Jersey, which are among more than a dozen states declaring states of emergency ahead of what officials are calling a potentially historic East Coast storm. Despite the severe conditions, MSC Cruises does not expect the weather to impact MSC Meraviglia's scheduled 7 a.m. arrival in Brooklyn or the ship's departure for its 7-night Bahamas sailing. However, the cruise line is urging embarking guests to take extra precautions when traveling to the port. The National Weather Service has forecasted heavy snowfall and freezing temperatures for New York City on Sunday, January 25, 2026, MSC Cruises told guests. While this weather event is not expected to impact the arrival or departure of MSC Meraviglia, there may be delays impacting guests' arrival to the port. Officials have also warned of possible power outages, which could disrupt traffic signals and worsen congestion in and around the city. While public transportation is expected to remain operational, icy conditions may still cause delays on subways and buses. Guests sailing from Brooklyn are encouraged to allow extra travel time, monitor weather updates, and plan for hazardous road conditions as Winter Storm Fern moves through the region. Winter Storm Fern is wreaking havoc across much of the United States, forcing cruise itinerary changes, delayed returns, and travel challenges for thousands of cruise guests. The powerful winter system is bringing heavy snow, ice, freezing rain, and severe storms across large portions of the country. The National Weather Service warns of snowfall totals reaching 18 inches from the Ohio Valley to the northeast, along with potentially catastrophic ice accumulation in parts of the mid-Atlantic and southeast. While many impacts are inland, several cruise ships and homeports have still been affected. Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas accelerated her return to Galveston, arriving Saturday instead of Sunday to help guests avoid worsening conditions in Texas. Guests were offered the option to debark early, while onboard activities were modified as the ship approached port. Her next sailing remains on schedule. Carnival Pride took the opposite approach, remaining at sea an extra day rather than returning to Baltimore as planned. As a result, her next Bahamas cruise is shortened by 1 day, with a missed call to Bimini. Affected guests are receiving prorated refunds for cruise fare and pre-purchased packages. Other ships, including Carnival Jubilee and Carnival Sunshine, were placed on weather alert but ultimately departed as scheduled. MSC Meraviglia also arrived on time in New York despite heavy snow forecasts, though guests were urged to allow extra time to reach the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Beyond the cruise industry, Winter Storm Fern has triggered massive air travel disruptions. Flight tracking data shows more than 27,000 U.S. flights canceled or delayed, complicating travel plans for cruise passengers heading to or from their ships. Cruise lines continue to monitor conditions closely, reminding guests to stay flexible, sign up for alerts, and plan for weather-related travel delays even when ships themselves are able to sail as planned. Anthem of the Sea's January 19, 2026 departure was to have returned to Sydney, Australia for a typical morning debarkation on Tuesday, January 27, but a technical issue has now forced a delay and the ship will not be returning until late Tuesday afternoon. The South Pacific cruise visited ports in New Caledonia and Vanuatu, and satellite tracking now shows Anthem of the Seas heading back to Australia at just 14 knots. The top speed for the Quantum-class ship is 22 knots. Due to the nature of the technical issue, Royal Caribbean has already elected to completely cancel the next sailing for Anthem of the Seas, a 10-night voyage around New Zealand. Royal Caribbean is offering compensation to guests on both sailings to assist with change fees and travel plans. The luxury expedition cruise ship Scenic Eclipse 2 ran into trouble in the Ross Sea in Antarctica after becoming trapped in thick pack ice. The vessel was about 8 nautical miles from the McMurdo area when requested assistance by the U.S. Coast Guard heavy icebreaker USCGC Polar Star. Video from the operation shows Polar Star pushing into the icefield and cracking a path toward the expedition yacht. As the icebreaker closed in, it made multiple passes and tight loops around Scenic Eclipse 2, breaking up the ice to create space and movement. The icebreaker made 2 close icebreaking approaches, which eventually freed the vessel, and then escorted it roughly 4 nautical miles to open water. Royal Caribbean International cancelled a visit to Costa Maya that was set to take place on board the Grandeur of the Seas due to pier damage. According to a statement sent to guests on board, the vessel was unable to dock at the Mexican cruise port on January 22, 2026.
All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Here's a quick word from Will.
Cruise around the world with the Will Model C2. That's the chair that I use. Our chairs will easily fit through accessible cabin doors and can navigate those tight spaces and crowded places. To see if Will may be right for you, click on the link below to schedule a test drive. Just tell them to use code Chillie for all your mobility needs. That's scooter.
With a private veranda in every stateroom, floor-to-ceiling windows and the most al fresco dining at sea, our small, award-winning ocean vessels are designed to give you a front-row seat to extraordinary vistas. Whether you choose to seek out the northern lights in Scandinavia, gaze upon Asia's towering skylines, or wake up to the lush rainforests and white sand beaches of the Caribbean, breathtaking panoramas await your discovery. Reserve your preferred stateroom with a $25 deposit and enjoy free airfare on select departures along with your choice of bonus savings. For more information, email chillie@bookalaska.net.
All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Let's jump over in the chat room, see who's made it through the technical glitch this morning and stuck with us. Hot Air Tom. Good morning, Hot Air Tom. Gary Older Than Dirt's here. Good morning, Gary. Hot Air Tom says we leave for Florida this Thursday. That's starting steps on us all getting together down there. There's Kenneth up in Pennsylvania. Good morning, Kenneth. Gary says, lucky you get out of the cold, Hot Air Tom. There's Mike. Mike, how you doing on the other side of the pond? Hope you saw the technical issue soon. Yeah, it was. Once I had to reboot everything, and then the phone wouldn't reboot. It was a mess. But anyway, we got on. Hot Air Tom says StreamYard is frozen over. Send some heat to the Chillie farm. Yeah, that would help. Tom says it's Tom and Ken. Yes, it is. There's Gretchen. Gretchen says, hi, guys. There's Katie. Hi, Katie. No chili? Yeah, well, I was working on it, Katie. Joanne's with us. Good morning from near Philadelphia. Bob's with us. Good morning, Bob. Kenneth says the sun is finally out there. Yeah, we're getting a little sun here today, too. That's the only thing that possibly could save me for tomorrow morning is if the sun gets the roads good and clear. I don't only need roads clear, I need cleared so I can get out to my car without being on ice. Remember, folks, it's a little different when you're on wheelchairs. You can't shovel stuff anymore. And I certainly can't ask a 92-year-old man to go out and shovel. That's not going to work either. Kenneth says, Gary, when are you getting into Orlando? I fly in the day before on February 6th on Friday. Yep. Gary says, hey, you're up. Audio and video fine. Thanks, Mike. There's Sonny down in Mississippi. Hi, Sonny. Katie says, loud and clear. Yeah, finally, once I got going, it seemed to be okay. It was just a little delayed, that's all. There's Todd says, good morning to everybody. Good morning, Todd. Hot Air Tom says, I saw this. I only got a half look at it. I just saw a post that effective today, Norwegian Cruise Line is changing the air policy for cruisers using the BOGO Air. Default will be arriving one day prior to embarkation rather than day of. Hotel is on your own. Well, I mean, that's the way I would do it anyway. There's Roger from Jacksonville. Hi, Roger. I did call this morning on our situation, Roger, and gave her some information from you, and I have not heard back yet. I should hear from her sometime today. I said, I got pretty dicey with her. Says, look, we got to fix this. So let's see if it gets done today. Anyway, Roger, I'm on the case. On the case. Okay, so I left Hot Air Tom still on the we'll get rid of that. All right, anybody else in the chat room? No, Roger was the last one. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Sorry about the somewhat diminished show because of the technical issue and the weather stuff I had on the side that I was going to use. Kind of got swept under the rug there and trying to get things rebooted and re-upped and everything. So I'll keep you posted on the daily project. And I may start doing some, just to get myself in the habit of it, I may start doing some Facebook Lives just to get back in the swing of things with that. Because I will be doing it when I'm traveling, I hope. So, we shall see. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up for today. As always, smash that thumbs up button for me. If you have not subscribed, please take this as my invitation to join us. It doesn't cost you anything. Helps the channel out quite a bit. Hit the bell notification. You'll be notified when I go live or when I post a new video. All right, guys. That's it for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas, like a bunch of us are on the Grandiosa coming up on the 7th and the 14th. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'll see everybody back here Wednesday if I don't see you before. Have a great Monday, everybody. Stay warm if you're out there in the cold like I am. Have a great day, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.